All right, so here's the question, right? If meaning comes from that which creates life, that enables us to conceive of meaning, and we're systematically destroying it, destroying biodiversity, destroying the ecosystems and habitats and polluting, why are we doing that, right? You'd think it'd be meaningful if that's what meaning is. Well, that's a good question. So there's two cases, right? So there's the case where we know that we're destroying meaning and life and the precursors of life. And then there's the case where we don't know. So I think the more interesting one that most people are curious about is the case where we do know and we're doing it anyway. Because the case where you don't know, it is interesting why you wouldn't know. But that's kind of an open and closed case. Like, oh, you don't know. Okay. So what about the one where we do know and we're doing it anyway? Where you know that your choices or our societal structure enable this mining pollution or destruction of biodiversity, etc. Why are we doing that? There's obviously no step that I can take right now, single action, that can shut down mining that would cause dams to break and pollute environments, etc. Right? Okay, so we're part of a big system. That's kind of a cop-out answer and not very satisfying, but it is an answer, is that we don't have a choice. We're born into this system, and you didn't choose to be in a situation where you have to be complicit in a system that has implicit destruction and exploitation in order to buy groceries, right? In order to get a paycheck. You didn't sign up for that, but that's how it works, and you have to eat. So we'll get to ways of creating different systems. That's my whole shtick. That's what I'm trying to do. But that's one main reason. But there's other reasons that are interesting. So another reason why we might do this anyway is because, say, all right, there are some choices that I can make. I can bike instead of driving. I can buy local food from local farmers sometimes, depending on where I am, instead of buying from supermarkets that ship foods across the world and increase food waste. There's definitely some choices I could make. And a lot of times we just don't make those choices. Why is that? So I think there's many reasons that you could cite, but the one that I find most compelling is worker alienation, and I think I want to speak on this on a longer form video. But essentially, when you go buy a banana at the store and it was shipped from Australia or Latin America or somewhere quite far away, I'm assuming you're in Washington, you're not thinking, wonder what the carbon footprint is, or like how badly the worker's back hurt who picked this banana, and how long they had to spend staring upward with their neck kinked all day for not enough money to buy dinner, right? You don't really think about that. And this is because it's obscured from you. You see the banana, you're in a fluorescent lit supermarket among many other shoppers that are buying bananas, and you will never see the worker that picked it. You will never see the cargo ship that shipped it. You will never see the docking containers. You will never see the cranes. You will never see the cloud of smog that followed those aforementioned cargo ships. You will never have to breathe it. Well, you might, but you wouldn't know it. And so this is the process of alienation. And it is one of the fundamental mechanisms by which we are able to forgive ourselves or forget about the impact of our choices. And this is a tool that capitalism uses to allow us to consume more and to create a consumerist culture. So that brings us to globalization, which deploys worker alienation at, you guessed it, a global scale. So globalization is enabled by free-flowing capital, which between countries, which really happens when we start talking about commodity trading, because commodity traders are like the world's deregulated banks. And when somebody needs something somewhere, they step in and make some profit off of that need and supply it using networks of producers around the world. Generally, these things are going to be wheat slash soy slash corn slash commodity crops, right? Metals or oil or money, maybe. Money itself can be a commodity. So this process of globalized trade encourages monopolies or oligarchies. It encourages concentrated power, and it encourages the simplification of our lives. And it's a monoculture in every sense of the word. It's not just a monoculture crop, it's a monoculture. We need one fuel source that works for everything. So that's going to be oil. We need one form of carbon that can produce everything we need. That's going to be oil again for plastic. We need one factory that we can go to when we need to get more clothes to Ukraine during a war. One factory that produces everything. Simplification at a global scale is what is driving globalization and what allows commodity traders to grease the wheels of international trade. They can't handle the complexity of the real world, so they simplify it. What's more, they profit off of the general chaos and disorder of capitalism. You can make money off of the oil crisis in the 70s, for example, mountains of it. You can make money off of people starving in wars, mountains of it. You could by supplying oil to both sides, really. Yeah, so they make money off of people's destruction and exploitation and suffering. This is a indelible feature of globalized trade because you're optimizing for trade on the margins of chaos. So globalization is another mechanism by which we can employ alienation at a global scale and make choices that systematically destroy meaning without necessarily fully internalizing the impact of those choices. All right, that's all I got.